to get started, folks.
Washington's 106.7 WJFK. Here starts Ron and Fez.
Okay, good. You're in for that, right?
Ron and Fez.
And we're back with the Ron and Fez Show. Get ready to wrap this one up on a Friday on 106.7 WJFK. Ron Bennington, Fez Whatley with you. Chris the Cop sitting in the studio. How do the fat headphones go out?
Fat headphones.
I said fat headphones.
No, you said fat headphones. Why would his fat headphones go out?
After we do an entire show, you do 3.5 hours, and then we lose headphones.
It's the lack of Rory.
That's what it is.
All right, this is on the instant feedback, too. It said Gary Gilmore's last words were, "Let's do it."
Nice.
Now that's the way to go out, baby.
Wasn't that Tone Loc's last words?
Because you know.
Oh.
Did you ever find out what's happening? What's the big deal?
What's the big deal?
Well, I know we can't say it. Write it down. Billy, what can we do for you? You come in here where the adults are, and you sit down.
No, it's just amazing. It's like, I always wanted to be a cop. I grew up, I always thought it'd be cool to be a cop, to have the power to be a cop. Now that I've met a lot of cops, I feel that anybody who wants to be a cop shouldn't be allowed to be a cop.
I don't understand your thinking.
Well, because I failed the psychological testing.
Oh, that shocks me.
I made it through everything, the medical, everything, but I failed the psychological, so.
Well, I'm shocked there. And now my headphones don't work. Hawk, do something with the board in there.
Other than what you've been doing, which is turning off headphones one by one? So what is your point? Anybody who wants to be a cop shouldn't be one?
Yeah,
or?
Because I think it's a whole power thing. I mean, they really, because I know that was it for me. I really wanted the power to be able to tell people what to do. And then when they said I was psychologically unfit to be a cop, I was like, well, you know, it was only because I got a couple of questions wrong on a test.
Well, thank God the testing works.
All right, now, Chris, I don't know what the psychological test is, but you think that's why they wouldn't let him be a cop, because he wanted to tell people what to do? What you really, I think he wanted to be a Nazi, not so much a cop.
No, I wanted to do good. I wanted to be a person who would, you know...
Do you think that's wrong? Is that what you think they found wrong with you?
Well, I think what happens is...
Why are you guessing what the psychology was?
Well, because I had to go through 3 phases of it after I failed the written.
Maybe they didn't want another cop like Tootie in Car 54, Where Are You?
I was in the shape of my life for this, and then...
Not psychological. You weren't. You should have gotten in psychological shape. Now, Chris, what kind of test is it that he would have failed?
Well,
you know?
I mean, if he says it was a psychological, then
But, I mean, is it hard to pass that? Because, you know, there's psycho cops out there, and they got by.
There's 2 phases, as far as I can recall, of the psychological. It's a written, and which is multiple choice.
The part he failed is where they left him in a room with a 17-year-old girl.
What they did is they go, we're going to leave you in the room. There's a baby and a pillow. Let's just see what he does. And if he gets the urge to try and kill it, they know. Do you remember what you did wrong?
One of those 2 things got eaten.
Yes, it was multiple
choice. Just put it that way.
There was... it was like 500 questions on this test, if I believe, and there were 3 choices. There was things like, what would you rather do? Walk across the street, read a book, or kill your mother.
Was it really like that?
No.
No, you're right.
You're right.
I remember.
Yes, and you'd have to mark off the thing you were...
You didn't put kill your mother, did you?
No. Yes,
but you failed that test.
No, wait a second. Let me explain.
Why didn't you copy off someone who didn't look nuts?
And your mother was taken into protective custody.
No, because it says you have to mark the thing you'd like to do most and the thing you'd like to do least. You know, so you put read a book, there's the most, and kill your mother the least.
Right.
But the thing is, they ask the same question over and over and over again.
Oh, they broke you. They broke you.
No, in different ways.
All right. There's no nice way to kill your mother. Stay away from that answer altogether.
Well, Mr. Staples, I see on this question, you just drew a gun pointed at a vagina and wrote, "Die, Mom," in your own blood. Why?
Well, it seems like there were some inaccuracies in my written test, so they actually sent me to see a psychologist.
Oh, my gosh, you're lucky. You went in to be a cop. You're lucky you didn't end up on the other side of the bars.
See, what they did is literally put him in a nut hut. from a job interview went from taking his shoelaces away from him.
Yeah, and I never understood that either. But, Chris, let me ask you one thing. I mean, this is true. My problem was I asked so many people who have taken the test already, what's the best thing to do? You know, do you answer it this way? Do you answer it that way?
No, you don't want to kill your mom. Just be honest.
Instead of just answering
What did you get for kill your mom?
I was trying to find out so much inside info. So then I had to go see a psychologist. And believe it or not, he made me draw a picture of a house and a family.
Right.
And this was psychologically supposed to tell me, you know, something about myself. And then I picked people's brains. You're not supposed to draw stick figures, and like, do you not draw windows?
Well, you would never draw your family as stick figures. I'm guaranteeing that.
But there are some psychological elements, like if you
didn't your mom just make a statement because you woke up from your coma?
He drew his mom dead.
Just for X's for eyes on the stick figures.
His mom was in a guillotine. And he wrote die whore on a welcome mat. Come on, Billy.
Ron, you had to draw a house, a family, and, you know, and it's I mean, there were all things, whether you drew windows, whether you drew doors, whether you drew faces on the people, whether they had
It's going to have to do with your subconscious.
You drew Ignat and Crazy Cat and hit the woman with a brick.
Because they say, like, if you don't draw a window or a door, you feel like you're trapped and, you know, you're confined.
Why would you draw a house without a door? Where do you live?
But it's just like, it's, you know, when you're 20-something years old, you're not really thinking about drawing anymore.
You're 27.
20-something, I said.
So what did you... Let me see the house that you would draw now. Just draw me a house like you would.
Draw that up, Officer Barb Brady.
Oh, no problem. I can do that. I've experience.
Nothing more to see here, looky-loos.
I'm just curious to see if I can see how stupid you are. I mean...
They always want, like, little details, like, you know, make sure there's a doorbell and, you know, little...
Who says this?
There's a dumbbell, I know that.
Just draw what you want to draw, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, I also asked people who had taken this
Why are you asking whether you're crazy or not?
Because I wanted to pass. I wanted to be a cop.
If you came to me and Ronnie and said, hey, what should I put on this house drawing? So that I don't...
like a crazy person. so I don't appear nuts.
So they don't think I'm crazy. Ronnie and I would be telling you to draw bats and a noose on a tree.
Okay, so there's a house and a person.
A house where? In Holland? What's the little thing at the top of the house?
The Smurfs lived in houses like that.
That's the antenna on the hut. It looks like an African hut, and it looks like...
It's a 2-story hut.
You've got a bunch of Valiums falling out of the guy's pocket.
No, those are fingers and toes. Those
are hot dogs. Much like your own fingers and toes.
So the guy's naked in front of his house?
Oh.
Where's the school bus driving by?
I forgot about clothes.
Where's the kids off to elementary school?
So why would you forget about clothes, Billy?
I don't know. It's not one of the things I thought of.
But you're drawing a picture of a person, and they have no clothes on.
You drew the nut hut.
I didn't differentiate, like, between a belt and a shirt and a tie, you know, put a tie on them.
How does that make you feel?
Now I know one of the mistakes I've made.
How? In what way?
I forgot to put clothes on the person.
Where is this home?
Could be anywhere.
Yeah, but where is it?
It looks like it's in the Midwest.
Looks like or is in the Midwest?
It is in the Midwest.
Where at?
I would say somewhere around Oklahoma.
Why Oklahoma?
Because it just looks like a desolate kind of farmhouse.
All right, so this is a desolate place.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, because there's only one person there, and you don't see any other houses.
There's no other family. You were supposed to draw a family. You drew one person.
You drew a dirt farm.
Well, it was a time limit.
No, there was no time limit at all. You could have taken as much time as you wanted.
And then
So this is a desolate, lonely place, right?
Oh my God, it's me.
Yeah.
And
the house is you.
Yeah.
That's what it always represents in any kind of psychological thing. And it's not just the way you draw it, but the way you explain it.
And look at the proportions. You're too big to get in the door.
Oh, I am not.
Look at it.
He doesn't fit. Why doesn't he fit in the home?
Can I ask another interesting question?
Yeah.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Oh, you are left-handed?
Yeah.
Okay, disregard then.
Okay.
Why?
Because the doorknobs on would be for a left-handed person. So.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's right.
There's no place for anyone else in his house.
Freak.
I just want to let you know, after I drew pictures for the site, I also had to do those Rorschach plots.
Yeah, but let me show you something else. The roof doesn't connect, as if the head doesn't connect to the rest of the body.
Well, some roofs
The roof doesn't cover the house.
Why don't you draw me a trade next to it, okay?
Matter of fact, I had to draw it too.
And then later on, you had to take the Horseshack test? What was that?
The Rorschach, the ink blots. I had to look at them, and like one of them.
You know Earl's here.
Come on. That's his favorite band.
All right, let's see what this tree is.
Okay, I'm just drawing my tree here.
I'm guessing the tree's going to be full of nuts. Much like the family.
How does it
How you doing there?
I'm all right. My tree's a little sparse at the top.
Why is that?
Because he is?
Winter is a cold time for you, right?
Yeah, but I do have a little. It goes
now this, and I'm going to tell you because I know a little bit about psychology. What's that in the tree right there?
That's like a little knot, you know.
And I'm just going to tell you, and I'm not making this up, Billy, but a person that draws that in the tree, and I'm not kidding, it's a sign of abuse. And it happened at not too, it doesn't look like it's too early of an age.
Well, I was thinking like the Keebler-Elf thing, you know, where they hide people go into. And you
but
know, like,
what I'm trying to say is point out to you, was there any abuse in your life?
No. There was some kind of, I guess, when I was earlier. Not physical.
You go to a shrink now, right?
Yes, I do.
Just go back and ask if they can find out if there's any abuse in your life.
Can I bring the picture with me and show it to them?
What are you, an adult or a child?
I want to see what she. You know,
take some crayons and see if you don't get locked up. I like the fact that on the police test you would actually say, "No, this is the Keebler tree where the elves live," and be shocked that they wanted to cart your ass away.
But I passed this part of the test.
What's this for, Billy? You a cop?
No, but they sent me then to see a psychiatrist.
You know what? Not only did you not get to be a cop, you're not allowed to drive anymore after taking this test.
Looks like they sent you to see a caterer.
They sent me to a psychiatrist.
At this point, you should have known you weren't getting the gig.
No, he passed me.
Yeah, running down the hall screaming for help.
No, I wouldn't. No, when I passed phase 2, they had to send me to a psychiatrist.
The only nuttier person would be whoever would give you a badge and a gun, because you would use it the first day. You'd come out of the door shooting.
Well, they asked me. They put me in a scenario and asked me if I would pull my gun.
And what happened, Officer Dibble?
I said yes.
What was the scenario? If you're in front of where a child is getting communion, yeah, I pull the gun. No. What was the scenario?
The whole he was asking me about the use of deadly force, and I had read the penal code beforehand, where the use of deadly force is.
You said penal force, but go ahead.
the penal code, where the use of deadly force is allowed when yourself or the life of an innocent person is endangered. So he said, what if there was a man standing over a woman with an axe in his hand, ready to bury it into her skull? What would you first do? I would identify myself as a police officer, drop the axe. And then he goes, what if you refused to do it and the axe started coming down? Would you pull your weapon and shoot? I said yes. And he goes, okay, thank you very much for your time. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Not shoot?
So did he ever tell you?
No, they just said I failed that part.
Maybe if you would have said if you would have, that after your training you would be better at. Why would you act like you come in knowing how to do it before you've had the training?
I don't know. I think I studied too much of the penal law and was...
I can't imagine the fact that you tried too hard is why you didn't get it.
But that's never been an excuse.
Well, let me ask an actual policeman now. In that scenario...
Did you have your thumb and finger out like you were playing shooting stuff?
At any point did you yell bang bang?
No, I just thought it was an appropriate time to use deadly force.
Chris the cop is here in the studio with us. Chris, do you recall this test?
Oh, yeah. I remember drawing pictures and taking a multiple choice test.
And what was wrong with Billy's response?
Well, I really don't know as far as the woman with the guy standing above her with an axe. Maybe she deserved it. I don't know. I really don't know.
Maybe she was Iraqi.
The woman was the real killer.
That's right.
Why do you just assume that the man with the axe is always the bad guy?
His answer was mother. Mother.
No, I honestly think my big mistake was not.
Up.
No, Not.
Now, do you have to identify yourself as a cop or as an alcoholic?
Stop or I'll drink.
I am a recovery. Stop. My name is Officer Staples, and I'm an alcoholic addict.
Hi, Officer Staples.
Come on, I'd make a perfect cop. I'm already an alcoholic.
Oh.
Jokes you did?
Now you hurt Chris's feelings.
Yeah.
No, but when you think about it, I think the mistake that I made was I was too ready to draw my weapon. And because I felt for this poor innocent girl who was about to get her skull split open.
So this has been haunting you for years.
Oh yeah, yes,
because this could have been your chance.
Yes, I got called by 5 different police forces.
And not one of them.
All looking for you.
And the Department of Corrections and Department of Sanitation.
Yeah, you
The odd
wanted.
thing is, he never got to be a cop, but he's been on 8 different episodes of Cop.
Wow.
Every time running shirtless and trying to hide under the kiddie pool. Every time. How embarrassing when you're just laying under the kiddie pool and they pull the top of it off.
They kick it up, and you're in the fetal position.
Now, we don't know why they figured out so quickly he was nuts.
No, I think it was the psychiatrist's fault. He was upset because I knocked on the wrong door going into his office.
Right, that sounds crazy.
No. He was very adamant. He goes, I have an outer door, walk through that and knock on the inner door. So I'm knocking on the outer door, knocking like an idiot, and then he finally comes to the door.
You're finally starting to get to the bottom of
Then
this.
he finally comes to the door and he goes, didn't I tell you to come through the first door and knock at the inner door? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I was a little harried, I was running.
You're dirty, Harry. You told him.
Dirty Harry.
I know what you're thinking.
I know what you're drinking.
No, I would.
Any way he could ever try again, Chris? Even in like a really small town thing, like a township.
You got to ask yourself, did you drink 5 or 6 beers?
Well, I think it's commendable that he wants to help people, and he's generally a nice person, from what I know of him. But these are professional psychological tests,
right?
And they're meant to trip you up, and they're meant to test your actual psycho. Anyone can lie. Yeah. Anyone can lie on a question, but that's why they ask the question over and over again.
Yeah, I think it's this, Billy, that you have to accept. That it's your subconscious that came out and flunked this test, not your, on an inner level, okay? On a level that you're not even thinking, on the same level that keeps your heart beating, also makes you an idiot. So,
I don't have
just
involuntary idiocy.
Yeah, just like you don't think about breathing, you don't think about being a psychopath. You just are.
No, see,
that's the beauty of it.
No, it really comes down to the fact is I asked too many people too much advice and didn't rely on my own intellect and intuition.
Then why did you give up on the dream?
Because I gained too much weight.
And you can't be bigger than the patrol cars?
No, you had to be a certain weight to be a police officer.
Yeah, what if they just put the lights on your head and let you walk and let you walk down the street?
The fatty wagon.
No, you have to be a certain weight, to meet the requirements. And this was the only test that I was at that weight for. Because after that, I gained weight.
You could be a traffic cop.
I got called by...
Your whole life would have been different if you had passed that test.
I got called by 4 other police departments, and I went for the test, and they looked at you and said, "Oh, you have to lose weight, son." And I just never did.
Well,
really, Buford T. Justice.
You're on your way. You're on your way to losing the weight, and you're going
now
through surgeries or whatever.
You couldn't be older than 28 because of the age.
No, there's certain jurisdictions, especially in Florida. I think Florida and Texas, where you I think in Orlando they hired a 70-year-old guy. He had retired from whatever job he was in.
Disney World.
He went down there. He worked there for a year. And he had a heart attack and crashed into a tree while driving the patrol car.
Be a private eye like Cannon.
So you got it until 70. If the whole...
I think that...
Iron ass.
I think that now that I'm 45, I can reapply because I think they did away with the age... because it was
statute of limitations.
No, it was discriminatory of age.
Not in New York, but elsewhere. Yeah.
I would say this. I'd give you $100 if you even got a job as a mall security guard. I'd be shocked.
I have a security shirt at home. I can prove I was security already.
Where were you during the '96 Olympics, Richard Jewell?
No. I was at home watching it on television by myself.
Look how quick he is to take you seriously and try to stay out of trouble.
I like earlier where he feels he has to tell us the end of the story, and I never did lose the weight. Like we were waiting for the surprise ending on that part.
Maybe someday you'll be sheriff of Fat Town. Don't you listen to these guys. I think you're ready.
It's going to be a one-horse town?
There's a new chef in town.
No, there's no such a place as Fat Town, and I'm not going to be
You know
sheriff.
what you could do? Why don't you go and be John Wayne's deputy? You could be that big fat Slim Pickens that's always, oh, Marshall, there's a problem. There's always a fat guy running for him.
No, the fat guy is usually the drunk falling through the saloon doors.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah, and just like...
You passed that test.
Uh-huh. I really would love to know why you failed, Billy. I wonder what you did wrong.
I did not follow my own instincts. I listened to other people, and that's
And
always...
took a sandwich into the test.
No, you should have seen me on that physical test. I was amazing. You had to do squat thrust. You had to do a certain amount of sit-ups.
Was your penis inside or outside your pants?
What
Think
difference
back.
would that make?
Well, you don't want to be squat thrusting around the other cops.
Well, no, but I did have the 70s short shorts on. You know, the ones that had the white stripe all the way around.
Sure.
Yeah, you look like Randy Oakes and Chips.
And
Your name should have been Paunch.
it was Punch. I wasn't going to ride a bike.
Now without training wheels, big boy.
Howard Stern, Don and Mike, Bill O'Reilly, Ron and Fez, and the Washington Redskins. 106.7 WJFK.